Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life, and today we're here to share with you our review of Misc, A Tiny Tale on Nintendo Switch. Now, this review was originally written by Roland Ingram for NintendoLife.com, but was reworked into this video by me. With Switch 2 now hosting Wind Waker, Soul Calibur, and F-Zero, have you got a case of GameCube fever? If so, Misc, A Tiny Tale might just be the soothing ointment you need to apply all over your body. Lead developer Michael Pierce has said it was inspired by the games of his youth, and it only takes a glance at the trailer to see that those games must surely have included GameCube favorites Chibi Robo and Pikmin. Taking that retro inspiration into account, Misc is a 3D platformer featuring a teeny-weeny robot bobbling about and helping people in a quirky, post-human world. This debut release from Tinyware Games was made by a core team of 3, who won funding from the Australian government along the way. It was developed for Nintendo Switch, which is the version reviewed here, and PC, but we recently reported that Tinyware took a punt on Switch 2's approach to backwards compatibility, meaning the new console does deliver a significant boost in graphics and performance, but more on that later. The story revolves around an inch-tall robot named Buddy and his friend Bag Boy, a unicycle robot with a paper bag on his head. And don't worry, they bear no relation to Emio. One day, they hear an explosion in their little garden village, and they set out on an adventure to find out what it was. As they go, they visit other locales peppered with friendly robo characters to lend a hand to, run errands for, or trade with. As simple as the story is, it's nice to go on a quest just because something went bang, not because the world's ending again, and it doesn't hold back on throwing in some dramatic moments later on. This is supported well by the music, which has a storybook quality, some eerie moments, and even a few songs for the emotional peaks. Each village area you visit on Buddy's Odyssey has a locked exit gate and a scattering of collectibles. There's not too many, no collectathon trinket fixation here, and they're split between major golden cogs and minor metal nuts. The metal nuts are more plentiful, left in short trails to nudge you around the level, while the golden cogs are the keys to opening the gates. Each area has 10 cogs, with 8 required for progression. A little icing on the quite appetizing collectibles cake is a feel-good difference-made system, sort of like Chibi Robo's Happy Points, which counts up your positive influence on the world as you potter about litter picking and scrubbing goop. Collecting golden cogs is the backbone of the game. You mainly get them either by completing tasks for NPCs, finding a shiny trinket, or completing a set of sheet music, or by performing daring feats of platforming and exploration. The platforming for the most part is all pretty low stakes stuff. You can't actually lose lives in this game, but when you fall, you'll be left having to retrace your steps, which can sometimes be a bit of a downer. Alongside some retrying, the jump feel takes a bit of getting used to. It's floaty by design, with Buddy having a propeller on his head to extend his air time, and the camera will need plenty of manual nudging to get sight of both where you're aiming and where your drop shadow's going. It was a good decision on Tinyware's part to put the most challenging jumping in separate underground sections, one on each level, without any golden cogs riding on it. Tucking the real platforming away in breakouts like this reminded us of Mario Sunshine's wooden block courses, another GameCube reminiscence. While we're on the subject of controls, there are duck and dive maneuvers that are almost never needed, and a stamina gauge to throttle your sprinting that just seemed unnecessary. Misc does control well once you've clicked with it, but these details make it feel just a little baggy. Most of the action happens in outdoor settings, a bit reminiscent of Pikmin. However, a graphical comparison with Switch contemporary Pikmin 4 is not especially flattering. The environments are varied, particularly later in the game, although they sometimes seem a little bit barren. While most levels don't feel like places characters might actually live, their charm and creativity still come through. Unfortunately, the Switch isn't doing the game any favors. It simply can't render the game at its best. Resolution is low and distant assets are hard to make out, with a lot of shimmering. The default setting for focus blur is a little heavy-handed, obscuring anything at a distance and making it hard to get your bearings. Once we discovered we could turn the blur off, it didn't go back on. For simple playability more than aesthetics. And that little bit of navigation help was really needed in some villages. We eventually managed to frame the levels around distinctive landmarks, but scouring places for the last couple of cogs sometimes led to walking in circles, albeit rather cutely. As we climbed up the same stack of buckets for the 14th time, even Bag Boy started giving us funny looks. Add some invisible walls and blocked gaps that look like you could go through them, and more than once we were ready to move on before having the required cogs. A test on Switch 2 told a different story altogether though. The resolution at a distance is great, movement is much smoother, and load times are shorter. We still preferred to have the blur turned off, but the ability to survey levels properly from high vantage points helped in finding our way around. Again though, it's the Switch 1 version under review here. Misc: A Tiny Tale is a charming and delightful first effort from Tinyware, albeit with some wobbles in execution. It sticks very close to classic ideas, and struggles with graphical fidelity on Switch, but none of that can undo the charm of the characters and the retro vibe straight from the GameCube era. Until Chibi Robo hits Nintendo Classics, this will serve all of our miniature robot helper needs. We here at Nintendo Life give Misc: A Tiny Tale on Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. Now, if you'd like to go reference our full written review, you can find that along with more news and information on Misc and other tiny robot games over at nintendolife.com. Let us know if you've heard of Misc before. Maybe you caught our original video covering the game back in 2021. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you collect a bunch of cogs and give them directly to that subscribe button, because the subscribe button's a machine and it needs more cogs to keep the wheel spinning. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Roland for spending all that time with Misc for us. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.